Imagine you're 16 years old. Your body is failing you, ravaged by an incurable disease that's making your hands and legs go numb. Your kingdom is on the very brink of collapse, and stretched out before you, across the dusty plains, is the army of the legendary Sultan Saladin, a force of more than 26,000 elite soldiers. You have fewer than 500 knights and a few thousand infantry. For any other king, this would be the end. This is annihilation. But for the Leper king, Baldwin IV of Jerusalem, in the year 1177, this was the beginning of the Battle of Montgisard. History is filled with conflicts that sound like they were ripped straight from a fantasy novel. But these aren't movie plots. They're real-life battles where the outcome defied all logic, where clever tactics, impossible courage, and heroic sacrifice turned the tide against unimaginable odds. Today, we're exploring some of the most unbelievable battles that actually happened. The Leper King's Gambit, the Battle of Montgisard. Back in 1177, the Crusader Kingdom of Jerusalem was in a truly desperate spot. Its main army was off campaigning in the north, leaving the path to the holy city wide open. The brilliant Ayyubid Sultan, Saladin, saw his chance and invaded from Egypt with a massive army, aiming to crush the Crusaders once and for all. His opponent was King Baldwin IV, a teenager whose reign was overshadowed by his severe leprosy. Saladin, believing the young, sick king was no threat, got overconfident. He let his huge army spread out to plunder the countryside, completely underestimating the boy he had trapped in the coastal city of Ashkelon. But Baldwin wasn't broken. In a move of incredible daring, he and his tiny force, including about 80 elite Knights Templar, didn't flee. They broke out of Ashkelon and started shadowing Saladin's army, waiting for the perfect moment. On November 25th, near a hill called Montgisard, they found it. Saladin's army was scattered, unprepared, and completely surprised. As his men readied themselves, Baldwin, too weak to even hold a sword, got off his horse. He fell to his knees before a relic of the true cross, praying for strength for his men. What happened next became the stuff of legend. The small Crusader force, led by their ailing king, launched a ferocious, all-or-nothing charge straight into the heart of Saladin's army. The sheer shock and ferocity of the attack shattered the Ayyubid lines. Saladin's personal Mamluk bodyguard was broken, and total chaos erupted. The massive army, caught completely off guard, folded and then broke into a full-blown rout. Saladin himself barely escaped, forced to flee back to Egypt on a racing camel. His army was shattered. While some contemporary sources claim only a tenth of his forces made it home, that's likely an exaggeration, as Saladin was able to rebuild and campaign again within a year. Still, the loss was catastrophic. The Battle of Montgisard was a miraculous victory that delayed the fall of Jerusalem and cemented the legend of the young Leper king who, against all odds, defeated one of history's greatest commanders. The Mud and the Longbow, the Battle of Agincourt. From the dusty plains of the Holy Land, let's jump forward to the rain-soaked, muddy fields of northern France in 1415. Here, another king, Henry V of England, was in an impossible situation. His army was exhausted, riddled with dysentery, and just trying to get to the safety of an English-held port. But their path was blocked. A massive, fresh, and confident French army stood waiting for them near a castle called Agincourt, outnumbering them by maybe 3 to 1. The French were certain they were going to win. Their army was packed with heavily armored knights, the pride of their nobility. The English were a small, sick band of brothers, but they had 3 things on their side: the terrain, a secret weapon, and iron discipline. The battlefield was a narrow plain squeezed between 2 dense woods, which meant the massive French army couldn't use its numbers to surround the English. And to make matters worse for the French, heavy rain had turned the plowed field into a thick, sucking quagmire of mud. Henry V put his few knights in the center, and on the flanks, he placed his secret weapon, thousands of English and Welsh longbowmen. As the first wave of French knights charged, they were funneled into a bottleneck. Weighed down by up to 100 pounds of plate armor, they struggled through the deep mud, which wore them out before they even reached the English line. Then the sky went dark with arrows. The English longbowmen unleashed a storm of projectiles, a sort of medieval machine gun that rained death on the French. The armor-piercing arrows hit with terrifying force, panicking horses and punching through armor. Knights who fell in the thick mud found it almost impossible to get up, and some even drowned in their own helmets. The charge collapsed into a chaotic, struggling mass of men and horses, creating a gruesome wall of bodies that blocked the next wave. As the French floundered, the lightly armored English archers dropped their bows, grabbed axes and hammers, and charged in, turning the battle into a slaughter. The English lost only a few hundred men. The French lost thousands, including a huge portion of their nobility. Agincourt was a staggering, lopsided victory that served as a brutal lesson in how tactics, technology, and terrain could defeat a vastly superior force. The birth of an idea, the Battle of Marathon. Long before longbows decided the fate of kings, another battle was fought that saved an entire civilization and gave us our most famous athletic event. Let's go way back to 490 BC on the shores of Greece. The mighty Persian Empire, the undisputed superpower of its day, landed at a plain called Marathon, just 26 miles from Athens. Their goal was simple: burn Athens to the ground. The Athenian army was in a panic. They were vastly outnumbered, with about 11,000 Greek soldiers facing a Persian force at least twice that size. And their strongest allies, the Spartans, were busy with a religious festival and wouldn't arrive in time. The Athenians were on their own. Many of their generals wanted to play it safe and wait behind the city walls. But one general, Miltiades, had a radical, almost suicidal idea: attack. He knew the Persians liked to put their best troops in the center, so he came up with a brilliant strategy. He intentionally weakened his own center and packed the flanks with his strongest soldiers. Then, the Athenians did the unthinkable. Instead of waiting to be attacked, they charged at a full run across the plain, a shocking tactic that gave the deadly Persian archers less time to pick them off. As the armies clashed, the battle unfolded exactly as Miltiades had planned. The thin Athenian center bent, but didn't break, drawing the elite Persian troops forward into a trap. Just as the Persians thought they were winning, the powerful Greek flanks, having crushed the weaker Persian wings, wheeled inward and slammed into the Persian center from both sides. Suddenly, the Persians were surrounded. It was a perfect trap, and it caused mass panic. The Persian force broke and fled in terror back to their ships. The Red Snow, the Battle of Towton. Underdog victories are inspiring, but sometimes the most unbelievable battles aren't about glorious wins, but about sheer, horrifying brutality. Welcome to the Battle of Towton, fought on Palm Sunday, 1461. This was the bloodiest battle ever fought on English soil, the terrible peak of the Wars of the Roses, a savage civil war for the crown between the House of Lancaster and the House of York. Near the village of Towton, two enormous English armies, maybe 50,000 men in total, got ready to destroy each other. The conditions were apocalyptic, a blinding snowstorm with fierce winds whipping across the field. The battle started with an archery duel, where the weather played a huge role. The Lancastrians, with the wind and snow blowing into their faces, fired their arrows, but most of them fell short. The Yorkists, with the wind at their backs, not only hit their targets, but then stepped forward, picked up the thousands of unused Lancastrian arrows, and fired them right back. After the arrow storm, the two armies crashed into each other. For 10 long hours, in the driving snow, they were locked in a merciless, hand-to-hand slugfest. There was no room for clever tactics. It was a human meat grinder. The turning point finally came when Yorkist reinforcements arrived and smashed into the Lancastrian flank. The Lancastrian line shattered, and what followed was a terrifying rout. An order of no quarter was given, meaning no prisoners. Fleeing soldiers were ruthlessly cut down from behind. Many ran for a nearby river, the Cockbeck, but the bridge became a bottleneck and reportedly collapsed. It's said that the dead piled up so high that they formed a bridge of bodies for others to cross as the water ran red with blood. By the end of the day, an estimated 28,000 men were dead. That's nearly 1% of England's entire population at the time. While modern historians believe the true number is lower, there's no doubt it was the single bloodiest day in English history. Towton wasn't a battle of heroes. It was a chilling, brutal reminder of the sheer horror of war. History is packed with stories that are stranger than any fiction. These battles, separated by centuries and continents, show us the extremes of human ingenuity, courage, and cruelty. If you know of an unbelievable battle that we missed, tell us about it in the comments below. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss our next trip into the forgotten corners of history. From leper kings defying sultans to mud-soaked archers fighting for their lives, these epic conflicts prove that sometimes the most unbelievable stories are the ones that actually happened. They're a testament to the fact that on the battlefield, the fate of empires can turn on a single brilliant idea or one moment of impossible bravery. Thanks for watching.